When I first started out, my father worked at a theater in town, and I started there. Well, I was going with him when I was really young, like 12, 11, and he was the projectionist there. So I used to go in with him just, to watch some movies and, hang out kind of thing. And then when I turned 15, I eventually got offered a job to work there.
Store, office, factory. They're more than just where we make money. A workplace defines who we are. But if our workplaces define us during our life, what role do they play once we're dead? Hi, I'm Lawrence Chow. Today on Ghostly Encounters, we meet Sherry and Adam. They both have stories about people who never left their job, even after they died. As a child in Trenton, Ontario, Sherry Overend spent many hours at the local movie theater. But Sherry tells us when she started working there, she learned that not all the theater's occupants were paying customers.
Well, in the beginning, when I started there, never really noticed too much until I started working like longer hours and I was there a lot more. The first thing we started noticing was that there would be these pockets of lavender scent throughout the theater, and it would be in random spots. It could be upstairs in the projection room or behind the candy bar. And it would just be a really, really strong scent. We'd stop, and walk back, and then we would smell it again. And like for that, usually there was multiple staff on, so then we would all stand there and smell it. So we're like, okay, do you smell this? Like, what is this scent? Kind of creepy. One night we were closing, and I think it was me and an assistant that was on, and we started to hear what we thought was like a little bit of a woman's murmur, or somewhat of a very faint voice. And we started to follow it, and we followed it to, I believe, Cinema 3. And as we're walking, it's getting a little bit louder. It seemed to be something like singing. Yeah, we kept walking, and then as soon as we hit the doorway, it completely stopped, and there was nobody there. And we checked the cinema, checked the exits. We even checked the guy's bathroom just in case someone was hiding in there. People sometimes like to hide in theaters, and yeah, and there was nobody, no explanation to where it came from or what it was. So. While I was working there, one night I was sitting there and the light burnt out. And it was a workbench light, so it was fluorescent tubes. And I changed the light, put it in, and then I was sitting there. All of a sudden the light undid itself, popped out, and then it was kind of eye level with me. It's just hovered there, and I was looking at it going, oh my gosh, what's going on? And then it just kind of like came towards my head, and I'm kind of like, whoa, and it just above my head and then dropped behind me. Didn't break or anything, and just like rattled when it hit the floor because it smacked floors. And yeah, scared me half to death. I was like, crap. Time to leave now. So then after like a few hours, I'm like, okay, get my nerve back. I go back in, and I put it back in, and I taped it in to make sure it wasn't coming out again, and it didn't come out again. One night, we had a middle of summer blockbuster movie, and The movie had just lit out. I turned on all the house lights, went downstairs to like close the booth and shut everything off. And I came up there and I got to the top of the stairs, and out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw someone sitting in the middle row looking at the screen. So I stopped and I looked and I went, wait a minute, the guy's kind of a little bit translucent and I kind of could see through him. Had just lit out. Turned on all the house lights, went downstairs to like close the booth and shut everything off. And I came up there and I got to the top of the stairs, and out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw someone sitting in the middle row looking at the screen. So I stopped and I looked and I went, wait a minute, the guy's kind of a little bit translucent and I kind of could see through him. I can honestly say it was the most frightening thing I ever saw. And I usually am not afraid of anything. So when I saw him, I literally was like, it was like my feet were lead and I could not move because I was so scared. We got up and then start walking toward the exit, which is at the front. Just waltzes right through the door and disappears. And of course, at this point, I thought, oh my gosh, I couldn't have just saw that. So I took off, ran down the stairs. I thought, okay, well, I'm going to catch whoever this is, if it's a prank. And flew open the exit doors, and there was nobody. That was probably the worst encounter that I had there. And then after that, you know, I was terrified to go in that theater. I kind of think, well, I kind of think that he sits up there and he looks at the screen because I kind of think that he's sad, or maybe he's looking for somebody or something. I went to the library and tried to do some research on the building. And I spoke to the librarian there, and she said, oh, well, you know, it used to be a vaudeville house. And during a performance, a man and a woman had died on stage. Something gave way. She died, you know, instantly. And the man, I guess they were trying to, other people were trying to help him and carry him out to seek some kind of medical attention. And he ended up dying on the way. I'm not sure, maybe the couple were married or lovers. It's hard to say, I really don't know. Maybe one couldn't live without the other. Could very well be that maybe they're searching for each other and they're just in different parts of the building.
Sherry believes the ghosts of two actors wander through the old theater. Our experts say that of all workplaces, theaters are the most likely to be haunted. And the older the theater, the more ghosts it's likely to have. Theaters may be magnets for the paranormal because of the intense artistic energy generated by theatrical performance. This may account for the ghosts Sherry talks about. But it doesn't quite explain the ominous presence that threatens Adam Kelly.
I'm a big believer. This is the first place I've lived in where anything's happened. I've lived in 3 places and nothing had happened in those other places. I wouldn't consider them haunted. The place I lived in now, I would consider haunted. There is something there.
Adam was a teenager when he moved into his new house. Like many teenagers, his life was music and good times, and Adam expected that to continue. What he didn't expect was that the house had another resident. one who had a very different idea of good times.
I live in an apartment above a department store in Port Elgin, Ontario. And as far as I know, the building that's there now is about, 50 years old. I moved into this place in May of 2004. And nothing really right off the bat, nothing really spooky happened right off the bat. But after a couple years, in 2006, I started noticing just little tiny things, like I'd hear feet shuffle across the floor when I was home by myself. You kind of look around, there's no one there, there's nothing around. Maybe like your name being called once or twice, just odd things like that. You see the shadows a lot of the time out of the corner of your eye. You walk out of a room and you just think down the staircase there's someone standing there, and you look over and there's no one there. It was never terror, never like really horrified, but a little unnerved. That's a better word for it. Just like a little shaken up a little bit. And it always happened once it got dark outside. It was fine during the day. Nothing really happened during the day. But come nighttime when it was dark, that's when, I guess, the specter likes to come out, right? Those were the small experiences that first got my attention. I was brushing my teeth, looking in the mirror, and it was just a normal night. I was just getting ready for bed. Looking in the mirror, I thought I saw someone walk through my living room and into my kitchen, and it startled me because I was the only one in the house at the time. I was brushing my teeth, looking in the mirror, and it was just a normal night. I was just getting ready for bed. And I just saw what looked like a person walking through about a foot of the view of mirror and into the kitchen. And there wasn't much detail. It was just solid black. It wasn't transparent like what you hear in some tales. And it was really quick, and it startled me. When I turned around, I walked out of the bathroom and into the kitchen, and I was shocked to find there was no one there at all, which kind of startled me. No, there's no way anyone could have been in there. But I know what I had seen. That was pretty much the end of my night. That's when I just went to bed and was just like, no, I'm not staying up anymore, not right now. Left a pretty big impact on me. That was one of the first times where I'd actually physically seen something. That throws you off a little bit. And then I would almost rather find someone in my house, you know what I mean? Sometimes you see that, I'd rather actually walk into the kitchen and find someone there. Yeah, I got up the next morning, not really thinking about it too much. I wasn't thinking, ooh, I saw a ghost last night. I guess the path that whatever walked into my kitchen would have taken, some grease marks had appeared on my floor. pretty spooky stuff. It's probably about 3:30 in the morning. I'd been up for a while and I was thinking, all right, it's time to go to bed. I'm gonna hit the hay. And I stood up, and as I was walking over to the door, I felt something grab my arm. As soon as it grabbed my arm, I'm thinking to myself, is this really happening? Is there actually something grabbing my arm right now? And I found myself face to face with a figure that was solid. You can tell there was a head. You can tell there was shoulders. No features, solid black. You couldn't see through it at all. So I brought up my hand, my index finger, and I tried to see what it'd feel like. And when I touched it, there was nothing there. It sounded like my finger stopped. The finger just went right into this black mass of shape. And when my hand went into it, it just kind of turned off like an older TV would turn off. Just went from like corner to corner, and from each side of it just kind of went and was gone. And that's when I knew there was something in my house that was just beyond the beyond. The fact that it grabbed me, that's what really pushes me over the edge, is the fact that it can touch you. You always hear like, no, I can't touch you. Ghosts couldn't do anything. Ghosts couldn't grab onto you. Ghosts can't hurt you. The feeling of that thing grabbing onto you lets you know that it's there, and there's a good possibility that there's always going to be something there, no matter really where you live. I started to ask some of the people that had worked at the store and some of the people that lived in the area, was there an older building there at a time, or how long has this been open for? And it had been a department store since 1971. But before then, I had heard it was a garage, and I heard that there was a man killed there. I live in an apartment above a department store, and it had been a department store since 1971. But before then, I had heard it was a garage, and I heard that there was a man killed there. A younger man named Ernie used to work there, and a car fell off a hoist and crushed him. So I started to think, well, like a mechanic or someone like that. When I heard that, I didn't put it together right away, but I started to think, black marks on the floor. It's like it was grease. It was like, that type of grease doesn't wash off easy. I think he just takes advantage of having someone so active living on his old space. It's like, I'm a pretty energetic person. I think it knows that. It feeds off my personality and the way that I live. I think it might even react with me, you know what I mean? It kind of knows like, oh, there's that crazy kid. It's just trying to hang out, I guess. One of the guys, yeah. But it definitely likes to hang out, especially with me.
Our experts tell us there seem to be two kinds of ghosts, those that appear to everyone and those that are attracted to a particular person for some reason. So Adam may be correct in his belief that the ghost likes to hang out with him because of his energy. Paranormal research reveals the deep attachment ghosts feel to the workplaces they die in. Violent deaths also tie spirits to the place where they died. Perhaps Ernie, the dead mechanic, continues to work on cars after his death. And perhaps the two actors who died in the theater are not wandering aimlessly, but rather are performing together in the afterlife.
Yeah, I would say that things I've seen in my apartment have definitely changed my life and my view on maybe not so much an afterlife, but energy still staying around, you know what I mean? The person's maybe impact that they've had on other people.
It is possible that they exist. I've seen enough to know, I guess you'd say, and it's, you know, as I say, it doesn't really scare me so much anymore. I'm just kind of like, it's just, you know, kind of there, and if it happens, it happens. And it's definitely, it makes it interesting.